Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in for Vinyasa Yoga today. My name is Erica and I'm with UMBC Recreation. If you are new to this class or new to yoga, I do take the time to build you into a pose, guide you there. I won't just call out the names of poses and expect you to know where we are headed. I do like to point out at the end of a yoga practice, we end on our back in a final rest period where we remain still for about 3 minutes with our eyes closed. The point of that practice is to not only absorb the benefits of our practice, have a well-deserved rest, but it's also a time for self-reflection. Yoga is not just about the movements and the stretching we do in our body, it is also about getting to know ourselves better as well. In this Vinyasa style, if you're not familiar, there is repetitive movement, so you'll notice we repeat a lot of the same poses. They go in a sequence like flow, so you'll notice most of the time one pose, you'll have an idea of what's coming next as we go through. You'll get more familiar, you'll need a little less guidance as we go on. There is a lot of emphasis on the breath in this practice as well. I'll cue our breath a lot of times, just as much as I am cueing us in and out of poses. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, you can skip it and jump back in. Same goes if you just need a rest and you're feeling challenged. Listen to your body and always check with your doctor before you start a new exercise plan. Today we're going to start in a seated position. So any comfortable seated position with your sits bones grounded into the floor, and you can find length through your spine. For me, that works in a cross-leg position, but you'll notice sometimes seated isn't as easy as it seems to keep your spine upright. If you find it hard in a cross-leg position, try taking a loose diamond shape with the legs instead, bottoms of the feet together. If you do opt for this position, wiggle the hips back a bit, let the chest lean forward. That way you're still finding length, but still finding a little bit of ease as far as keeping the spine upright. Whatever position you are in, gently lower your chin down towards your chest. We're going to start right here in seated. Start to deepen the breath a little bit. Take a few rounds of deepened breath. And each time you inhale, lengthen the spine a little more towards the ceiling. With every exhale, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Core is engaged here, helping to keep the spine upright. Belly button draws in towards the spine. Now lift the chin from the chest. Draw the shoulders up towards the ears, roll them down the back. Taking nice exaggerated shoulder rolls, nice big circles here as we loosen up the shoulders. Then reversing direction, bringing shoulders up to the ears, rolling them down the front. Slowing down, finding stillness. Taking the arms behind the back, grabbing onto opposite elbows. Spine stays long here, opening from the front of the chest, relaxing shoulders away from the ears. Gaze is slightly up towards the ceiling. Belly is still engaged. Opening the front of the chest. Still working a little bit with the shoulders here as well. Now bringing the arms around the front, giving yourself a hug, dropping your chin down towards the chest, rounding the spine just a bit. Maybe just ever so slightly letting the head rock side to side. Now release the arms down at your sides, find length through the spine up towards the ceiling. Bring the bottoms of the feet together if they're not already into Baddha Konasana, pressing firmly into the pinky edges of the feet. Still finding length through the spine, shoulders relaxed down the back. Beginning to work with the hips. The closer you draw the heels in towards the body, the more sensation you'll feel in the hips. Spine stays long. Maybe even furthering sensation by letting the chest fall forward a bit, hinging at the hips. Never feel any pressure to take anything further. Listen to your body. Take a few breaths in whatever position you're in before deciding if you would like to create more sensation or push yourself a little more. Listen to your body. Take the time to listen to your body. Extend just the right leg forward into Janu Shirshasana. Keep a slight bend in the knee, heel to the mat, foot flexed. Lift the arms overhead, lengthen the spine, deep breath in. On the exhale, find the fold, dropping ribs down to the thighs, letting arms fall down to your sides, gazing down to the mat. Core is engaged to help find length through the spine. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. If a rib is touching the thigh and spine is long and you would like a little more sensation in the legs and in the back, inch the heel forward just a bit more. Keep the belly pressing to the thigh. And on the alternative, if you need a little less sensation, bend the knee a bit more, finding ease there. Now rising back to seated, spine upright, bottoms of the feet together, returning to Baddha Konasana. Extending the left leg into Janu Shirshasana, spine long, slight bend in the knee, draw the breath in, lift arms overhead. Exhale, finding the fold, dropping ribs to thighs, gaze is down to the floor. Slowly rising back to seated, returning to Baddha Konasana last time, bottoms of the feet together. Maybe hips are a little more open and they can draw a little closer to the body. Now extend both legs forward, Paschimottanasana, slight bend in both knees. Spine is long, lift the arms overhead, deep breath in, exhale, forward fold, ribs to thighs, gaze is down. Core is engaged, keeping the spine long, pressing the ribs towards the thighs. Bend the knees if you need a little less sensation. Start to wiggle the hips back and straighten the legs if you need a little more. Whichever position you are taking, belly stays close and pressed to the spine. Spine is long. We're breathing nice and deeply. Then we rise back to seated, straighten the legs, swing them behind us, coming into a tabletop position on the hands and the knees, or stacked under shoulders, knees stacked under the hips. Round the spine into cat pose, tuck your chin to your chest, draw your belly in towards your spine, lift away from the mat, then lift and arch the spine into cow, gazing up to ceiling, letting belly hang. Return to cat pose, round the spine, chin to chest. Lift and arch to cow, let the belly hang, gaze up to the sky. A few more times at your own pace, rounding and lifting. Maybe in between, shifting the hips side to side like you're wagging a tail, getting a little stretch from the body in between your cat-cows. And slowing down your movement until you find stillness in your tabletop position. Lift up to the tips of your fingers. Extend your right leg behind you, point through the toes, heel in line with hip. Draw the belly in, look down towards the floor. Draw the right knee in towards your chest, tabletop crunch around the spine. Lift the knee nice and high so you can step the foot into lunge. You can place it into lunge as well, foot in between the hands, ankle below the knee. Draw the breath in through the nose, lifting right arm up to ceiling, drawing belly in, lifting ribs to ceiling. Exhale nice and slow, out the mouth, fingertips to floor. Inhale, arm lifts. Forward foot stays flat to the mat. Exhale, out through the mouth, fingertips to floor. Deep breath into the ribs, into the chest, arm up. Exhale, fingertips to floor. Around the spine, chin to chest. Then look forward, send the chest forward. Left toes tuck onto the mat. Lift that knee into the air, lifting up to pointer and middle finger, sending chest forward. Roll the ball of the left foot, pressing actively out through the heel. If you need some ease in the extended leg, slight bend in the knee. Forward knee is stacked right over the ankle. We're looking forward, our core is engaged. Return the left knee to the floor, uncurl the toes. Inch the left knee back, just another inch or two. Then send the hips back and walk the fingers back into half split, starting to straighten the forward leg, flexing the foot, lengthening the spine. Forward leg does not have to straighten completely. Maybe you're working here. As long as the foot's flexed and the spine is long, that's what's important. Few breaths here. Getting a nice stretch for the back side of the leg. Then return to a lunge position, knee stacked over the ankle, and return to tabletop. Repositioning the knees below the hips. We're on the tips of the fingers, extending the left leg behind us, pointing through the toes, drawing the belly in. Tabletop crunch into chest, around the spine, engage your core, draw the belly in, step or place the foot into lunge, ankle below the knee. Draw the breath in through the nose, nice and slow. Left arm lifts to the ceiling, lift the ribs, gaze is up. Exhale out through the mouth, fingertips to floor. Breath in, arms lift, deep breath into chest. Exhale, hand comes down, we're moving in slow motion. Last time, breath in, arm up. Exhale, fingertips to floor. Round the spine, chin to chest. Send chest forward, engage the core. Lift right knee off the mat, lift up to tips of fingers. Holding here, looking forward, strengthening that forward thigh. Now holding the breath. Returning right knee down to the mat, uncurling the toes. Inching that knee back just an inch or two, then sending the hips and the fingertips back into half split. Forward foot is flexed, spine is long. Meeting me back in lunge, knees stacked over the ankle, returning to a tabletop position on the hands and the knees. Lift the left arm up to the ceiling, reach through the tips of the fingers, then thread the needle by passing the raised hand through the right, dropping shoulder and cheek down to the mat. Relaxing the right shoulder away from the ear. Getting a twist for the spine here. Opening the shoulders. Use the right hand to press yourself back to tabletop. Inhale to lift the right arm up to the ceiling. Exhale to thread the needle, passing it through to the left, dropping down the shoulder and cheek. Use the left hand to press yourself back to tabletop. Lower to puppy pose, dropping elbows down to the mat, stacked underneath the shoulders. Let the head hang heavy, gaze between the knees. Take a breath or two here, getting some length in the spine. From puppy pose, settle into child's pose, hips all the way down to the heels and forehead to mat. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths here, filling up the sides and the back side of the body. If you're feeling any discomfort in your knees and your hips, you can return to puppy pose instead and skip child's pose at any time. In either pose, you're still getting a nice lengthening through the spine, still a rest position. Just choose whatever feels better in your body. A few more rounds of breath here. Slowly meet me back in tabletop position, hands in the knees. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Press firmly into the pointer finger and the thumb. Gentle bend in the elbows, don't lock out the joints. Tuck your toes onto the mat. Lift the knees just an inch or two off the floor. Hold here, engage your core. Then keeping the knees bent, send the hips up to the ceiling into downward facing dog, pressing the belly back towards your thighs, looking between the toes. Hollowing out the armpits by engaging the shoulders, pressing firmly pointer finger and the thumb. We're gonna work here. If you're looking for more sensation in the legs, you can try straightening one leg and then the other and working here. Nice deep breaths in our down dog. Look forward and step or place your right foot into lunge, ankle below the knee, foot in between the hands. Step up to half lift, feet at the top of the mat, hands to shins, back is flat, pausing here. Gazes down towards the floor, drawing shoulders away from the ears, lengthening out through the crown of the head. Don't lock out the knees, tiny micro bend. If you need less sensation in the thighs, bend the knees a little more. If you're looking for more sensation, try bending one knee and then the other. Giving a bit of an active stretch here, creating a little more sensation in the extended leg. Then hinging into forward fold, gently bending the knees a bit more, dropping ribs to thighs, reaching crown of head towards the floor. Low belly draws in as we lengthen the spine, reaching ribs towards the thighs. Head hangs heavy. Shake the head yes and no a few times. Keep the low belly drawing in like you have on pants that are too tight. Keep the hips reaching towards the ceiling. If the thighs are very far away from the ribs, bend those knees a bit more. Then tuck your chin in towards your chest and slowly round the spine up to a standing position, engaging your core for stability, letting your chin come up from the chest last, standing nice and tall at the top of your mat, looking forward. Extending out through crown of head, shoulders relax down the back. Throw a deep breath in as you lift both arms overhead. Exhale to hinge into forward fold. Hands come together down through heart center. Gently bend the knees, drop ribs to thighs. Crown of head reaches towards the floor. Rise to half lift, flatten your back, hands to shins. Step your right foot back into a lunge position. Left knee is stacked over the ankle. Lower right knee down to the floor, uncurl the toes, tops of foot to mat. Deep breath in through the nose, lift both arms overhead. Exhale out through the mouth, fingertips return to floor. Step back in a tabletop position and plant your hands flat to the mat. Lean forward into chaturanga, shoulders past the wrists, then bend the elbows, keeping them close to the body as you lower chest to the mat and hips to the mat. Tops of feet to floor, elbows pointing up to the ceiling. Press your hips to the mat, lift your chest off the mat, shoulders wrap behind the heart into baby cobra. Then press into child's position, hips to heels, forehead to mat. You are welcome to skip chaturanga at any time. However you lower down to your belly works for me if that was not comfortable for you. Inhale as you rise to tabletop. Spread the fingers nice and wide, tuck toes onto the mat. Start by lifting the knees a few inches, pause here, engage your core, lift the hips to downward facing dog, hips up to ceiling, belly back to thighs. And same thing goes for down dog. Down dog's a total body stretch. There's a lot going on here. You're welcome to skip this pose at any time and jump back into the practice when you're ready. If you're working on straightening the legs, try straightening one at a time, back and forth. Don't lose the length in the spine. Then look forward, step or place your left foot into lunge, lifting up to tips of fingers and chest forward. Step up to half lift, back is flat, hands to shins. Lower to forward fold, knees, bends, ribs, reach for the thighs. Tuck your chin in towards your chest, slowly round the spine, up to standing. Take your time, chin comes up from the chest last. Once you're standing up, deep breath in through the nose, lift arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hands lower, ribs to thighs, head down towards the floor. Rise, half lift, flatten your back. Step your left foot back into a lunge position. Drop the knee to tabletop. Tops of foot to mat. Deep breath in, lift both arms overhead. Exhale out the mouth, fingertips to floor. Step back into a tabletop position, plant your hands flat to mat. Optional for chaturanga, leaning forward, shoulders past the wrist, bending elbows, keeping them close to body, chest comes down first and then the hips. Everyone meet on the belly, elbows up to ceiling. Deep breath in, lift the chest, baby cobra, pressing hips to floor. And then press to child's pose, hips to heels, forehead to mat. Slowly rise back to tabletop position. Use your exhale for downward facing dog, hips up to the ceiling. Knees can be bent, or you can start to straighten the heel, lower the legs, pressing heels down to the mat. Keeping the hips reaching up towards the ceiling. Well, nice length in the spine comes first. Straightening the legs is secondary. Look forward, step or place your right foot into lunge, lift up to tips of fingers. Deep breath in as you step up to half lift, back is flat. Exhale, forward fold, ribs to thighs. Round the spine up to standing, nice and slow. Once you're standing at the top of your mat, bring your right arm up to the ceiling, root to the tips of your fingers. Exhale, side bend over to the left, engage your core. Deep breath in, rise back to standing. Again, exhale out through the mouth, side bend. Inhale through nose and rise. Last time, exhale. Inhale. Opposite arm comes up. Exhale, forward fold, ribs to thighs. Half lift, flatten the back. Step your right foot back into lunge, bringing fingertips to floor, forward knee stacked right over the ankle. Bring your hands to your forward thigh, lift the chest, lift the arms overhead into high lunge, holding here. Hips are square towards the front of the mat, pressing actively out through right heel on the ball of the right foot. You can gently bend the extended leg if you need some ease. And holding here, not holding the breath, strengthening our standing legs, the forward thigh, right glute. Open to warrior two, opening up towards the right side of the mat, right heel rotates down and makes contact with the mat, arms lower to shoulder height. Hips and shoulders are facing the long edge of the mat. Gaze is out towards left hand. Holding here. Opening up the hips as we're still strengthening the legs, standing tall towards the ceiling. Windmill the arms down to lunge, lifting off the right heel off the mat, fingertips to floor. We're gonna hold here. Optional to drop the right knee down to the mat if you'd like some ease for the legs. On the inhale, left arm lifts to the ceiling. Nice deep breath in, lift the chest. Exhale, nice and slow, fingers come down to mat. 2, breath in, arms lift, find the twist from your core. Exhale, hands return to mat. Last time, breath in and breath out. Lower the knee down to the floor, step back into a tabletop position. Extend the left leg long behind you, point through the toes, get a nice stretch for the front of the thigh and the hip flexor, then return to tabletop. Leaning forward into chaturanga, shoulders past the wrists, bend the elbows, chest first, and then the hips to floor. Deep breath in, baby cobra, chest lift, shoulders behind the heart. Exhale, child's pose, hips to heels. Taking a short rest period here, try to deepen the breath. body a few seconds to settle into this much deserved rest period. Inhale to meet me back in a tabletop, hands in the knees. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips up towards the ceiling. Deep breaths in your downward dog. Step or place right foot into lunge. Breathe in as you step up to half lift, back flat. Exhale, forward folds, belly to thighs. Inhale as you slowly rise to standing. And exhale at the top. Stand nice and tall. Lift your left arm up to the ceiling, reach to the tips of your fingers. On your next exhale, side bend, engage the core. Inhale to stand. Exhale, side bend. Inhale. Last time, exhale into side bend. Inhale to rise. Opposite arm up. Exhale, forward fold, ribs to thighs. Rise, half lift, back is flat. Step your left foot back into a lunge position. Hold here. Hand comes to the forward thigh. Extend the arms overhead. High lunge, Vinyasa. Hips square to the front of the mat. Press firmly into the inner and outer ball of the forward foot, the inner and outer heel. Nice engaged legs. Left glute is engaged. Open a warrior two, left heel down, arms at shoulder height, hips and shoulders face the long edge of the mat, looking over right hand. Breathing here, nice and tall, standing warrior. Windmilling the arms down to lunge, pausing here. Optional to lower the left knee down to the mat now. Next inhale brings the right arm up to ceiling, nice slow motion. Exhale, hand to floor. Inhale, arm lifts. Keep right knee over ankle. Exhale. Last time, arm up. And exhale. Left knee lowers down to mat. Step back into tabletop. Extend the right leg long behind you. Point through the toes. Nice stretch for the front side of the leg. Then lower knee to the mat. Lean forward, chaturanga. Lower all the way down. Nice, slow and controlled. Inhale, baby cobra, chest lifts. And exhale, child's pose, hips to heels. Taking a rest period here. Slowly return to a tabletop position. On your next exhale, round the spine, cat pose, chin to chest. Inhale, lift and arch to cow. A few more times at your own pace, exhaling to round. Inhaling, lift and arch. Keep it going. Find stillness in a tabletop position. Step back into plank and slowly lower yourself down to the floor for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tops of feet to mat, arms along the sides of the body, palms face up. Turn your head to one side so you can rest on your cheek. Let big toes touch, let the heels fall away from one another. Wiggle the hips gently side to side. Let the low back relieve any tension it might be holding on to. And then wiggle the shoulders away from your ears, helping to lengthen the neck. Take a deep breath in through your nose. On the exhale, out through the mouth. Let everything go onto the mat, hanging as heavy as you can onto the floor. Let everything go. If you'd like to deepen the stretch for your neck, turn your head so you're resting more on your ear than you are your cheek. Slowly turn your head to the opposite side, starting on your cheek first. If you feel compelled to find movement at this time, you can bend the knees and windshield wiper the feet, letting them fall side to side, helping to further relieve any held tension in the low back. Turning your head to rest on your ear if you're deepening the stretch. Place your chin on the mat, place hands underneath the shoulders, and press yourself into child's pose, hips to heels. Taking a rounded variation this time, bringing arms along the sides of your body, palms face up, rolling and melting the shoulders down to the floor. But if that variation is uncomfortable for you for any reason, you can return with the arms extended forward. Now slowly make your way to a seated position, sitting in the center of your mat, with your legs extended forward. Sits bones grounded to the mat, feet are flexed. Lift both arms overhead, drop your chin towards your chest. Round the spine into rounded back stretch, dropping hands down to the knees, pointing elbows out to either side of the room. Relaxing shoulders down the back. Then slowly start to lift the spine back to the ceiling. Extend the arms overhead. Deep breath in as we exhale, chin to chest, around the spine, rounded back stretch. Elbows out to either side to the long edge of the mat. Slowly lift the spine back to a seated position, finding staff pose by planting hands on either sides of your hips, helping to further lengthen the spine, engaging your core just slightly, and relaxing back to a neutral seated position. Bending your right knee, placing your foot on the mat. Hold on to the bent knee with your left arm, opening the twist, turning to look behind you, placing your right hand directly behind you, gazing out over right shoulder. Spine is long to the ceiling. Core is pressing towards the body. On your next exhale, slowly unwind, face center, straighten the bent knee. Bend the left knee, foot to floor. Right arm holds onto bent knee, opening the twist, free hand directly behind you, gazing out over left shoulder. Slowly unwind, facing forward, straightening the leg. Then bending both knees, planting hands on the back side of your thighs. Rounding the spine like you're getting punched in the gut to slowly round yourself all the way down to the floor, drawing both knees in towards the chest. Gently tucking in towards your chin, in towards your chest, lengthening the back side of the neck. Holding here, pressing low back to the floor, shoulders pressed to the floor. If you'd like a little more compression, you can interlace your fingers and hold on below the knees, drawing the thighs a little closer to the body that way. Gently rocking side to side, massaging the muscles on the back side of the body. Finding stillness. Place your hands on the back side of your thighs, extend the legs overhead, up towards the ceiling. Heels in line with the hips. Holding on to the back of the thighs for support. Gonna hang out here for about 30 seconds, but if the legs start to feel tired, you can gently bend the knees, drawing thighs close to the body. Still helping to induce relaxation, but just finding some ease in the legs that way. Maybe gently close the eyes and start to relax the muscles around the face and the brow. And draw the knees all the way in towards the chest, lowering heels back down to the body. Placing your arms out at the floor at shoulder height, palms face up. Let the knees fall to the right side of the mat into a reclined spinal twist, and head turns to the left. If you're feeling any pinching in the back, lower the knees away from the hands. If the eyes are not already closed, I encourage you to do so, as this is our last pose before our final resting pose. Easing the body to find comfort and stillness. Slowly draw the knees back to the center of your chest. Let them fall over to the left as head turns to the right. Slowly draw knees back to the center of your chest, drawing thighs close to the body. slowly lift your head to meet your knees. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold the breath at the top. Squeeze the body nice and tight like you're squeezing yourself into a tiny little ball. And exhale out through the mouth and release your hold on the body so you can lay flat on the mat into final rest position. Arms and legs are spread nice and wide, taking up as much space as you can. Toes fall away from one another. Palms are face up. Eyes are closed if they're not closed already. Take another deep breath in through your nose as you exhale out through your mouth. Imagine you're melting onto your mat. Letting everything go onto the floor, back into the earth. Doubts, hesitations, all leave the body. And focus comes to the breath. Keeping your attention on the subtle movements the body makes as you draw breath into the body and as you release breath out. Acknowledging that every exhale relieves a little more tension from your body, a little more tension from your mind. Your focus has wandered, bring your attention back to your breath. Follow every dependable inhale and exhale. Slowly start to deepen the breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Welcome movement back to your body. And gently roll over to the right side of your body. Take a moment of stillness on your side. Maybe use your arm like a pillow to support your head. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze lowered to the floor, slowly press yourself up into any comfortable seated position. As always, to finish class, we'll take 3 cleansing breaths together as one. That's breathing in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Today we'll take a 3-part breath, breaking the inhale into 3 parts, breathing belly, ribs, chest. Breaking the exhale into 3 parts, exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. So that we're all together, let's start on an exhale, releasing all the breath out of the body. Breathing into the nose, filling belly, filling ribs, filling chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. Breath into belly for 2, ribs, chest, exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Deepest breath yet, into the belly, into the ribs, filling up the chest, fill up the chest. Exhale, exhale, and exhale. Take a second to thank yourself for making time for this practice. Thank your body, thank your mind. I thank you for letting me lead you on this practice. There is a light that exists within me that honors and respects the light that exists within every single one of you. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the class. If you did, there's a new version of this class that is aired every Thursday. If you like something a little more challenging, I teach a core yoga class, and that is aired every Sunday. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you next week. Thanks again.